Hey everyone, are you a good listener? The question is, do you have active listening skills? So, although many people can be good listeners, their listening skills still need a lot of improvement. And so you should not really be worried that the average person only has capable listening of 25%. That means a lot of opportunities are being lost and are missed in connections that we have, like our customers. And so active listening is sort of like an effective method that to bridge the gap and create understanding, connections, and compassion. And so to help us explore this really important skill, I have Mariana Magre, head of customer success at Poli. By the way, congratulations on your new role.
Thank you.
And she has also been nominated as one of LATAM's Latin America's Customer Success Thought Leadership Watch List. Congratulations on that as well. And here to co-host with me is Ariel Justo, who is a global customer success professional, currently located in London, but started his career in Brazil.
Thank you very much, Harriet.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So I can't wait to get started and really explore everything we know around active listening and equip our customer success professionals with this important skill. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi guys, welcome back. As we spoke about, the main thing that we're going to talk about today is how to introduce active listening to our conversations with customers. Mariana, what the heck is active listening?
Active listening, it's a way of using dialogue more efficiently. With active listening, we can identify needs and even positions that in ordinary communication we would not have noticed. It is necessary to focus on that communication to pay attention to what is being said and how it is being said. There are important points that can be overlooked during a communication, but if we use the technique of active listening, we will be able to capture everything that was transmitted by the client.
Ariel, have you heard about this terminology before?
With this kind of nomenclature, active listening, a couple of times, but definitely with not that much depth. Mariana brought a lot of great definitions on how it's supposed to be and what it would drive you to.
I have not had any classes on active communication skills, so I'm really down to hear everything you have to say about it. But before you dive into what it is exactly, can you kind of share why is this important to customer success managers? You're now the head of customer success. You have customer success managers reporting to you. Why is this so important for you to have your team really get those skills done?
Active listening is extremely important to customer success. Through this technique, we are able to identify demands and even prevent future dissatisfaction. One of the characteristics that I consider important for a customer success manager is undoubtedly knowing how to listen and to the customer, and from that listening, knowing how to develop a plan for a customer success.
I see. Can you give me an example of a situation that happened to you or one of your team members where active listening was really helpful?
Yes. During the pandemic, while I was talking to clients, I realized that those who were mothers were having great difficulties working from home. They had a hard time managing their children. The complaints I heard were, "Mari, I can get 2 minutes of peace to work." After this call, I thought, how can I help this client and others like her? At the moment, an image came to me of children at home without their peers and unable to externalize their creative power. I thought about what could be done to help them. So I asked the company designer to make some drawings which subtly refer to our brand, but only in sketches. My idea was to email these drawings to our customers who were mothers to print and deliver to their children to color and take part in minutes to color. With the children occupied, they would have some time to make calls and take part in meetings. Many were very happy with the initiative and we're very grateful that I took the time to think about helping them. Our
100%.
long-term goal is to help people who may be exhausted and lacking motivation.
Yeah.
Our job then is to remind them of their goals and to let them know that they are not alone on this journey. I believe that's our role.
Mariana, per your experience, are there specific questions or sentences that you usually say to project to someone that you're actively listening to them? Can you give us some examples of those questions or words that you're using?
I think the most valuable question I like to use is, how do you feeling about that? So when I bring this question, it's not only sentimental question, it's a strategic question, because I want to hear all of what the customers really feel about the scenario that I bring in the meetings.
Yeah, it's what we call drop the F-bomb, the feel bomb. There's no wrong answer. It's just how you feel. And then you feel like you're being heard. And it's funny because I just recorded another video with Richard Harris, who's teaching sales skills to customer success teams. And he said that that was one of the most important questions to ask. For example, when you do a price uplift, which means there's a price increase, it's a difficult conversation. He said it's very important to ask a person, how do they feel about their service? How do they feel about this price increase? And just to make them feel heard in that situation.
I agree.
Mariana, I always tell some friends as well that customer success is, before anything, the ability to connect with people. And from that connection, you can start doing your job, because you need to find a way of talking to the person behind the client. And how do you see the active listening playing a role in this process of connecting with people?
If you liked what you've heard so far, that's awesome. More coming in a second here, but in the meantime, I want you to click that like button so that YouTube knows that this is great content and you can start sharing it with others.
I think it's all in the same role. We are all fighting the same battle. So when I bring the active listening in the meetings, when I pay attention, when I really care about what they're gonna tell me, they're gonna explain me, I can connect more with everything that the client was saying, not just numbers and data. You can bring all the topics that matter for our customer. And even when the people say to me, it's not a customer success manager problem, it's a friend problem, I disagree. Because even when we talk about job and numbers, anyway, we are talking to people. So it's very important that you pay attention and be there for a really listen and recording everything that was said.
Are there any other examples of questions, or how you even wordsmith your questions? Do you do more open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions in active listening?
Yeah, I really have a way of organize my meetings and my topics. So I really look for a quiet, first one, I really look for a quiet environment to have some peace and for pay attention for what the client is saying. So we are human, so sometimes we're gonna change our attention. So it's really important that we return to the dialogue at the moment that we notice that I'm not here anymore. Listen. So it's a ritual that I made for me. One is looking for a quiet environment to really pay attention. Two, when I change my attention to what the client is saying, I return to the dialogue. And three, after this communication, I'm gonna recording and write everything that was saying at the meeting for future meetings and conversations.
That's great. Great 3 tips for anybody who's doing very important conversations, specifically with customers, but literally with anyone. Wanted to ask you, let's say you have posed an important question to a customer and they gave you a reply. What should we do next after they give us their response to make sure that they know we've listened Do we ask a follow-up question? Do we repeat what they say? Do we tell them how we feel about their answer? None of the above. I have no idea because I'm not an expert on active listening, but it seems like you're really down on that. I was kind of wondering, what do you do?
Sometimes I repeat the last phrase that I hear because we made a rapport at the conversation. So when the client says something to me, I usually repeat the last sentence and I say it with my advice. So when they say, for example, I'm confusing about the software, I repeat, are you confused about what topic in the software? So in the time I say that, we are gonna repeat the words that he said for make another question and continue the conversation.
So you repeat what they say and then you come up with a follow-up question.
Yes.
What did I do? I just repeated your last question and then asked this question.
There you go. Do you feel that somehow, Mariana, this is another way of as well for you to kind of like reinforce that you're comprehending what they're telling you? So you're showing to your client that you're there, that you're understanding, they're connecting with their whatever issue they might be facing, and you're not just another number in the other, end of the conversation.
Yes, but there are some obstacles that can get in the way of developing this active listening. For example, not be prepared for that specific meeting. If you arrive for a meeting with a client unprepared, it is common to lose focus on the dialogue. There is a fear that the client will ask questions for which you have no answers. Being prepared to talk to your customer is critical and increase your chance to have a really valuable communication. I usually say that every communication with your customer is an excellent opportunity. So when we don't take advantage of this opportunity, we can turn the chance of creating a brand promoter into a detractor. Pretty serious, right?
Yes. So in a short way, prepping is caring.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? I mean, always prep.
And so when you think about creating a plan for customers, what are some of the tips that you can share with our audience? Before we continue, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification button so that you don't miss out on any new videos.
First of all, you can divide it into topics. I really like the way that we can separate into topics for make it easier to begin with a plan. So that is very important that you record in all the things that the client and you say it at the meeting for being clear and for being more easier to bring with plan really close to what the customer, what the client say to you in the last meeting, the last call. I think dividing two topics can help you, and right away you finish the meeting, you should be recording and put all the information in your CRM.
In your CRM or customer success application. And so you take notes, you take the main topics, you update wherever your customer 360 view, whether it's in your CRM or CS application. Do you send meeting summary notes to customers?
Yes, it's very important to send them for the customer can read what you say and then remember what he's saying in the meeting, they're saying in the meeting. It's very important that you can have this information just in the email so the client can be there, can read all the topics when they want to read.
Just to make it easier for the client. So you send them a meeting summary after the meeting is over, and that include here's what we talked about. What other questions are you answering in that meeting summary? So bullet points, things we talked about. Do you also include like action items? Do you include the recording of the conversation?
Possibly the next steps as well, because that email is definitely an opening for the consequences and from whatever is the next step from that meeting, right? Whatever has been discussed on that meeting, the email is an opportunity for you to carry on with that.
Yes.
Do you use it that way, Mariana?
Yes, we use a to-do list. So we send our to-do list for the client can read and wait for these actions. So it's very important to send them this email with the recording. We are in the same page, for we're gonna stay at the same page.
Perfect, Mariana. I was actually going to say that I think this email is a great way to make sure that everyone has the same view on the matter. Because if at that point, if the client looks at the email and thinks, wait, this isn't really they're going to bring that up, instead of just you understood one thing, they understood another thing, and you all went home thinking everything is fine, but it isn't. The email kind of like sets it up in a professional yet connecting way.
I agree. So if you have all these sections, it really helps close the loop on that meeting. But also, I think, Mariana, I mean, the whole topic is active listening. This is another way to show the clients we were totally focused in the conversation. Here's what I heard. Here's the action items we agreed on. It's part of this active listening strategy that you're so passionate about.
Yes, and the benefits are numerous. I believe the greatest benefit is being able to foresee possible difficulties that may arise along the customer's journey. So using the knowledge along with the perspective that client presents to you, it will be possible to develop an assertive and contextualized strategy to help your client. This planning and the actions that will emerge from this way of listening can even help us to reduce churn. Increasing customer retention in the portfolio is essential, and through active listening, we will be able to develop the strategy to establish and maintain the relationship with our customers.
Mariana, if somebody wants to learn more about this topic, do you have any recommendations for books, videos, blogs that you have read on the topic that you, or, classes that you recommend that your customer success managers take to get better at active listening?
Yes, there's some books that I like, and it's not only about active listening. I like the non-violent communication. That's the guilty for make me thinking about the communication and really hear what the customer is saying and saying back with a kind way. So I really like, and it's about human relationships. So we really need to pay attention to saying something nice and be there for the client.
I love it. Are there any other resources you recommend your own customer success managers to read to become a better communicator in general?
At my team, I say a lot of the book of Body Speak, because our communication is not only with words. So the body can speak. I can't speak without my hands. You probably notice. When I say about, yes, the body speaks, I'm saying about another kind of communication. The body communication is so important as well, I think.
Mariana, now that you're a team leader, very big company, by the way, congratulations again. What are your plans to foster a better communication style for your customer success managers? Do you have a budget for training? And if not, are you sometimes like auditing or coming into their meetings to review, to give them feedback? What are some of the things that you have done in the past that really helped you hone in their skills in communication?
I send tips of books, and I encourage them to participate at the meetings and the CS meetup we have here. So I already sent an event that you participated and was for free. So I sent you Dave for be there and listening, because sometimes we are so attached to our daily job. So it's really necessary to listen another person who have incredible journey as you. So
thank you.
It's really important to make some participating for all these meetings and read a lot. We can We must read all the kind of books because every single one bring us new knowledge.
Ariel, do you have any recommendations for any kind of workshop, courses, videos that you like, blogs about topics that if somebody wants to get better at communication skills, what would you recommend them?
Some customer success focused courses help me. You're asking Mariana about the open-ended questions. That definitely is a great source of like digging into information. So if you want to be able to connect and also do the best active listening that you can, try to avoid questions that would end in yes or no. Go for questions that develop a conversation. So topic starters. Actually, not just with customer success, with anything in life, I would say, if you want to get to know someone, that's the way to do it. And within customer success, even more.
Yeah, for me personally, I think throughout my life, every 3-4 years, I take a communication class. Every time that I think I already nailed how to talk in public, how to speak, how to have one-on-one communication, I always learn something new. My favorite trainer in the world is the last one I took, which is this website here, Effective Training Solutions. I've done their Building Foundation for Positive Communications, and I've done the Executive Mastering Presentation. And this one and this one, I've done both in a group session, actually. And I know since the pandemic, they allow a lot of virtual classes as well. So I highly recommend them to any kind of teams that want to improve their communication skills in general. I think it's an awesome class, and it's specifically geared for executives as well. So if anybody feels like they don't communicate like an executive and they want to learn how, I actually really recommend this. But in general, I would say take a class every 3-4 years, and also have somebody review your session and then ask for feedback, because there's always going to be things that you don't know. And somebody looking in fresh on how you communicated with a client, difficult situation or not, will always give you some insights on how you can improve your communication style. Mariana Magre, you're so beautiful, so smart, so insightful. We are blessed to have you today. I really want to appreciate you bringing this such an important topic of how to active listening is key skill for customer success managers and actually for all of us in life. So I want to thank you for bringing this on. And Ariel, you were so fantastic today. And everyone, if you liked this video, give it a like, put a comment down below if you have any other books about communications or classes that you want to recommend to others. And don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube video. It helps the channel a lot. I'll see you at the next video.